your book by looking at the cover. Oh, can't you see? Oh, you must judge me. I look like a farmer, but I'm a lover. You can't judge a book by looking at the cover.
Welcome to Book Brigade. It's gonna be a good time. I love books, and I feel like we're living in the best timeline ever. A lot of people are super upset about the current administration.
I'm Superman. I'm Superman.
And his lack of experience in government and reading. Well, I say there's no better time to be alive because any day of the week, if you just read a little bit,
oh yeah,
you're guaranteed to be doing better than he is. And then you can say, I'm smarter than the president. So let's do that. First on my list today is this, we're going to do an excerpt from Grady Hendrix's new novel, My Best Friend's Exorcism. I see this as a companion novel in the world of his literature. I almost wonder if Grady's not a girl and it's just like a pen name that the publisher was like, hey, we want to sell these books, so you're going to be a boy now. I don't know. Grady's first book, Horror Store. I shouldn't say first book. The first book that I came to knowledge of Grady with, Horror Store, actually has a quote-unquote picture of Grady, I think in... And that looks like a dude, or if it's just truly publishing house saying, hey, we need to move these books. At any rate, it's a concept novel, and Horror Store is all about a IKEA knockoff. In the narrative of this novel, they acknowledge the existence of IKEA. So it's not like an alternate universe. It's just saying, you know, we're an IKEA knockoff. And it was a very fun concept. It's stylized in, you know, the vein of an IKEA catalog / instruction building manuals for IKEA furniture. Excellent job. What I've noticed so far from My Best Friend's Exorcism is it's a similar sort of feel. I went to the last bookstore a couple days ago to pick up a copy of what I thought they'd have the newly released paperback edition of My Best Friend's Exorcism, but there was not one to be found. I wasn't angry about it. I didn't know that there was a hardcover edition, so I chose to just grab the hardcover. Some of the stuff I love about Horror Store is already present in this book. For instance, it takes the form of a high school yearbook, or middle school yearbook, or I'm not entirely sure how old the protagonist is yet, but a lot of, you know, messages, have a great summer, you are too cool to be forgotten, Thomas Hines, P.S. I'm not a Nazi, I'm from Austria, stuff like that. So I've already read most of the little signages and stuff. Oh, okay, here's another picture of Grady Hendrix. This is fun, I hadn't seen this yet. But I'm super excited about this book, which is why I'm making the Book Brigade happen. Name TBD, but that's a placeholder right now. So what I thought I'd do is read you an excerpt of My Best Friend's Exorcism to get you hooked on it like I am. Because again, remember, we can be better than the president. So we should. So here we go. I just realized the air conditioning's been on the whole time. It's a hot day here in Los Angeles, so I'm gonna fix that. Now, into the world of My Best Friend's Exorcism. All I can do is to urge you to put friendship ahead of all other human concerns, for there is nothing so suited to a man's nature, nothing that can mean so much to him, whether in good times or bad. Cicero. And a lovely naturescape photo of ducks. It seems perfect for the 80s nostalgia that we're going to get in this novel. I will skip over that. My Best Friend's Exorcism, a novel by Grady Hendrix. Presented to you by Quirk Books, Philadelphia. The same publisher from Horror Story. Don't you forget about me. The Exorcist is dead. Abby sits in her office and stares at the email, then clicks the blue link. It takes her to the homepage of a paper she still thinks as the News and Courier, even though it's changed its name 15 years ago. There's the Exorcist floating in the middle of her screen, balding and with a ponytail, smiling at the camera in a blurry headshot the size of a postage stamp. Abby's jaw aches and her throat gets tight. She doesn't realize she stopped breathing. The Exorcist was driving some lumber up to Lakewood and stopped on the I-95 to help a tourist change his tire. He was tightening the lug nuts when a Dodge Caravan swerved onto the shoulder and hit him full on. He died before the ambulance arrived. The woman driving the minivan had 3 different painkillers in her system, 4 if you include Bud Light. She was charged with driving under the influence. Highways or dieways, Abby thinks. The choice is yours. It pops into her head a catchphrase she doesn't even remember she remembered, but in the instant she doesn't know how she ever forgot. Those highway safety billboards covered South Carolina when she was in high school, and in that instant, her office, the conference call she had at 11, her apartment, her mortgage, her divorce, her daughter, none of it matters. It's 20 years ago, and she's bombing over the old bridge in a crapped-out Volkswagen Rabbit. Windows down, radio blasting UB40, and the air sweet and salty in her face. She turns her head to the right and sees Gretchen riding shotgun, the wind tossing her blonde hair, shoes off, sitting Indian style on the seat, and they're singing along to the radio at the top of their tuneless lungs. It's April 1988, and the world belongs to them. For Abby, friend is a word whose sharp corners have been worn smooth by overuse. I'm friends with the guys in IT, she might say, or I'm meeting some friends after work. But she remembers when the word friend could draw blood. She and Gretchen spent hours ranking their friendships, trying to determine who was a best friend and who was an everyday friend. Debating whether anyone could have 2 best friends at the same time, writing each other's names over and over in purple ink, buzzed on the dopamine high of belonging to someone else, having a total stranger choose you. Someone who wanted to know you, another person who cared that you were alive. She and Gretchen were best friends, and then came that fall, and they fell. And the Exorcist saved her life. Abby still remembers high school, but she remembers it as images, not events. She remembers effects, but she's gotten fuzzy on the causes. Now it's all coming back in an unstoppable flood. The sound of screaming on the lawn, the owls, the stench in Margaret's room, Good Dog Max, the terrible thing that happened to Glee. But most of all, she remembers what happened to Gretchen and how everything got so fucked up back in 1988. The year her best friend was possessed by the devil. So I feel like that's an adequate start. Hope you check it out. Buy it on Amazon. Or stop by your local bookstore and pick up a copy today.
What the shit?